This is Marcia from Markets of Sunshine. Today we're going to be making some handmade paper. So these are 2 sheets that I made a few days ago, and this is from using yellow envelopes, and then I took my dried leaves and I put them in the paper. Can you see that? Here's a leaf here. Here's a leaf here, here's a leaf here, here. The back, you can see the impression of the leaf through the paper. Isn't that cool? So these will be available in my Etsy shop, Markets of Sunshine. I had made wallets out of these in the past, and what I did was I covered this with plastic to protect it, and then I made the wallet. So if you go back through my testimonials, I believe you'll see wallets there. So I'm just making it available now for you to use in your crafting and whatever you want to make out of it. You can use it in your junk journaling, scrapbooking, just punch holes in it and write on it with a marker. Even an ink pen will work. Okay, so then today what we're going to do is I'm taking more envelopes, and I just love this. And then here's my screen, my little paper pulp holder, and we're just tearing up the envelope and we're putting it in the blender. So we had 2 blenders. My other blender died. It was very old, and it wasn't strong enough to hold up under this anymore. So I sacrificed one of our other blenders, and I don't use my blender as often. My husband does to make his protein drinks, but I don't drink that anymore, so I don't need it. Okay, so this is 1 small envelope and then a back of another envelope. I don't use, this had a little bit of writing on it, but I don't use envelopes that have a lot of writing. And then you can just take even a napkin, and this is just a white napkin. Okay, so I'm tearing that up. It's going to go in here, and this I used a medium size envelope. I believe I used 2 for this, and you can see the width here. And then now this one I used, I think, like 3 or 4. And I don't know if you can tell the difference of how sturdy this is. This is really thick. So this would be perfect for a cover for a journal, because I mean this is really, really thick. And then I'm not going to bend it now. You would have to bend it when you get it. So I'm just leaving it just as it is. And I also, in this one here, I don't know, I put some little flowers here in the corners, yellow and white, and then I took dried carnation flowers, which I have a whole bunch of them here that I will be using in the projects. And then I have rose petals that are also dried. I've had these drying in there since last year, so they're definitely dry. And then I'm using the canceled stamp that came in the mail, and I don't know which way this thing, I think it's supposed to go like that. Isn't that cute? So this is going to go in the paper today so when it's wet, that's when you can put stuff in. Okay, so we're going to do this together on camera, and then I have a dried orchid flower. Isn't that beautiful? So that's going to go on the paper today as well. So I hope you love this idea of using handmade paper, made right here in the USA by little old me in Florida, Markets of Sunshine. Okay, so I'm going to step over to the kitchen and I'm going to put water in this. So you're going to have to turn down the volume. The blender will be across the way from me. It's not going to be right here on this table. And then I'll bring it back and then we'll go through the whole process and I'll show you how it goes. Okay, so as you can see, this has about 3 cups of water in it. So you want to use a lot of water. It doesn't matter how much paper you put in, but the water is the trick. Okay, so it's coming over here to the blender, which I have across over here on the other table, with a towel underneath of it. Okay. Okay, now I've never used this kind of paper packaging before. I've just used envelopes. So this is going to be an experiment, but I want it to be a natural color. So I'm just had this available. I didn't have any more natural envelopes. So just want to tear down a little bit more and put in the blender. I like the paper to have a lot of texture. Okay, so this is about how much I'm going to put in. Okay, need the lid. Be right back. Okay, here we go, some noise. Okay, and then what do you get? Paper pulp. Now, we're going to take our little wooden tray here that has a screen in the bottom. Got it secure. And now we're going to set that over here in the water bath. Okay, so let's see. Take the lid off of this. Okay, there's all the yummy paper pulp. And it gets poured right in the middle of there. Okay. And now we just take this and we move it around. I have my gloves on. I get in here and I move the paper pulp around. This is a nice natural brown color. And I don't believe I've ever made one this color before, so this is pretty cool. Okay, see, then you just wiggle it around a little bit, and then you lift straight up. And I just move it around, get as much of the water out as I can at this point. I don't like having a lot of the water. So I just keep moving it, and you hear the water dripping. And the paper pulp stays in place, so if you notice that, it's not like, doesn't start, slushing all to one side. It just gently, gently, gently moves. Still have water coming out, so just going to keep letting it drip. All right, now, there's my towel. Okay. All right. Let me get the blender out of the way. Hope you enjoy this whole process and watching and learning with me today. All right, so I'm going to take the towel here, and open up the side of my little box. Okay. And then I gently remove the pulp. Okay. And then gently, very carefully. Okay, now I put this on top of that. And now what I have is I put the screen on top of that. So there's another layer. And then I take a blotting thing and I go and over it. Okay, and I remove that. And then I have a sponge. Now I'm going to take the sponge and I'm going to do the same thing now directly on top of this. So I use the blotter first, and then you come behind it with the sponge. And you just keep mashing and it absorbs. And if you notice, I put the towel underneath, so as I'm pushing with the sponge, it's also pushing water into the towel so that it doesn't drip out all over the table, even though this is a plastic table here. So this is my process. And I bought this whole system, which you can make it yourself. And but I found a lady who made this little box and has this nice solid piece of screen. And then she had another solid piece of screen. But what I did is we bought some at the home improvement store, and I just cut a piece off the other day. We used that on the greenhouse. Okay, so here we go. Now we remove the screen on the top. And then we take another blotting sheet. And you could use paper towels. But look at how much water continues to come out of there. And I had more blotter sheets, but I don't remember where I put them because it's been about a year since I made my last handmade paper. And so I put everything away. And thankfully I had my container and the little wood box, you know, all in one spot. But why I didn't put the blotters with it, I don't know. If you ever don't want to find something again, just give it to me. Is your house like that? I used to say my house has a black hole. I mean, I don't know how things can get lost. It's just like amazing. And we will go through things one by one by one, and then lo and behold, there it will be tucked in something. And why I did that, I don't know. Okay, so now this thing is really, really wet. So I'm going to lay it over there. I'm going to pull my little tray, and this is like a cookie drying rack. So I don't bake cookies anymore, so I nabbed it from my kitchen, and it works perfect for this. And then I happen to have one of these Rubbermaids, so I'm going to take this mat again. I'm going to go back over it a second time, and if you notice when I'm wringing the sponge, it's just very little is coming out. So these blotters really, really absorb a lot. I didn't really trust the paper towel method. These blotters came in the kit that I bought from the lady. And if you would like to know that information, just sign up on my mailing list and I will provide that information to you. Okay, so now, yep, the towel's pretty wet. Okay, now what I like to do at this point is let's move the handmade paper we already made out of the way. And we're going to take our screens and put them over here with the drying rack. All right, now on this lid, is where I'm going to take now. And I'm going to turn this over very carefully. Yes, you can see. And then I'm going to let it dry here. Let me see if it's enough so I can peel. Okay, yes, okay. I can peel. Whoop, easy, easy there, little paper. Don't be in a hurry. Okay, there. So now this bottom piece comes off and it goes back together in the little handy dandy unit. And this was really a fun project. I love making things myself, and I loved the fact that she lived right here in the United States and is a small business. I like supporting small handmade businesses because I'm a small handmade business owner myself. So what else would I do? Okay, now at this point, while it is still wet, okay, I'm going to put the stamp right up here in this corner. And then since that's on paper, then the paper will get wet and then it will stick to it very nicely. And then I'm going to take, oops, some of my dried leaves and come in at this point and put them in as well. Okay. And just now, as you see, it's making the impression of the leaf. Isn't that cool? I love that. So you can get the design from the leaf. Okay, let's see what kind of a pattern we can get from this one. Pretty cool. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to go over this with using these leaves to just put that nice design in the paper. So it's going to be very subtle, but it will add some texture to the paper. And that's all there is to it. Pretty cool, huh? And then when this dries, which I leave mine overnight, I let them dry by themselves. And I have, AC on here in the house, so it probably within about an hour I'll start to notice, and this color will lighten up. So tomorrow, tune in again as I make some other papers in different colors and do different textures, and then I'll show you what this one turned out, when it dries, what color it is. Does it stay this brown, which I think it's going to because I added that extra brown paper in there. But this is so cool. I love the impression that that's doing. So we'll experiment tomorrow with some other things that could add texture, and we'll see what we come up with. So I hope you've enjoyed this little DIY with me today of making handmade paper. Okay, now I gotta get the leaf out of there. I'm not through using you yet. Okay, so that shows you that the paper is thicker there, and that left a deeper impression. So that is really cool. I love this. This one up here, I'm going to leave that one in the paper. So, did you ever think to do this yourself and make some handmade paper? Have you made handmade paper before? Did you ever use leaves like this to make an impression in it? Did you know that you could do that? Or was this something new for you? Let me know in the comments below. And if you liked this video and would like to see more like it, then just subscribe to my channel. And thank you so much for being here with me today. And again, check out my Etsy shop, Markets of Sunshine, and subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you following along. Okay, and one last impression here. Okay. Then this one I'm going to leave there, and this one I'm going to leave here. Okay, so we're going to leave the two leaves here in the corners. Okay. Let's see, I have another little one here. And we're going to put him up here in this corner, if he will cooperate. This paper's thinner up here at the top. But I can always glue him in place, so that's pretty cool too. Yeah, he's not going to stay, but anyway, that's where his little place will be tomorrow. And I think I want him on this side. The green, do I want the green up or do I want the more muted? I think I like that more muted color actually. Okay. He's not going to stay. Okay. There. Alrighty then. Thank you again. I hope you enjoyed this DIY handmade paper tutorial that we did today. Let me see if I can bend that down a little bit so you can see the leaf. There you go. Alrighty. So like I said, tune in tomorrow and we'll see as this dries if you can see the texture. Let me zoom in a little bit. And so if you can see if you can see the texture. Okay. Let's see there now. Okay. Brighten it back up again. Okie dokie. That's our handmade paper lesson of the day. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.